This year's President Cup winner lives at the end of a very long road. And this dirt road symbolizes his struggles as a rancher. It's been a long, bumpy road, but our rancher beat long odds, battled the rough road, and won. Flashback a few years ago. On this day, it was 9 degrees below zero, and there's our President's Cup winner, Hayden Cattle, happy as a lark, despite the biting wind and harsh conditions. Tim Lowry of Owyhee County joined the Farm Bureau back in 1969.
Decided to go with the Farm Bureau. I've always been impressed with what the Farm Bureau accomplished, their strength, their numbers, and I guess you would say their philosophy and their position. You read the policy book of Idaho Farm Bureau, and it's a very proactive, a very, I would say, positions that are in defense of what we would call the American system.
Lowry was just a due-paying member like anyone else at Farm Bureau for a couple of decades, and then he found himself in a situation where he needed the organization's help. The BLM challenged his water right. At stake, thousands of rancher water rights on BLM land across the West.
Been there in a number of issues. The one that I will never forget is the Farm Bureau being there in the water rights battle, and they were one of the first ones in there, the State Farm Bureau and various county farm bureaus helping to support financially. And without that type of backing, an individual on his own is out there and very difficult to stand, but with the backing of an organization like Farm Bureau, you do have some opportunity to stand, and standing together to prevail.
Well, Lowry won his case, fighting all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. And Lowry carries on like he always has, working cattle with water rights intact. And while Lowry won the case, he got stuck with $1 million legal bill, a debt he's still trying to pay for to this day, while thousands of ranchers that benefited credit Lowry with protecting public land water rights. He credits Farm Bureau for their help and support.
I'm sure it does have a lot of clout, and I think one of the reasons it does have, and one of the things that impressed me, is it is a truly grassroots-driven organization. It's not an organization where policies are developed at the top. All the policy development coming from the grassroots level, I think, is probably the bedrock foundation of its clout. Because those in the decision-making positions know that this is what we, the people, are saying.
Lowry says his years as Farm Bureau member paid off many times over, and he's not afraid to tell ranchers coming up.
I would encourage them to get involved at a much earlier age than I got involved in the organization. I've been a member for a long time, but was rather late getting involved, and I think I would encourage them to get involved, be a part of it, because a young person can get involved at the county level and work their way up and actually have input and be able to affect the direction of their careers.
Lowry has changed the face of ranching in the United States, and many agree that he single-handedly kept ranching alive. But he cautions that the federal government will not give up. A new generation will have to step up to keep the nation's ranges open. But Tim Lowry's decision to continue the fight earned him the 2014 President's Cup and a place in ranching history. Tim Lowry, 2014 President's Cup winner.